Okay. So we should be, it says setting up our meeting, so it'll take a second and then it'll be live. I'm seeing the link now, so I'm going to share it around. I've turned my sharing into a science where I have all the messages ready to go and I can do it really quickly on all platforms. So I've shared on Facebook, Twitter,
Tech
and
savvy.
Discord sometimes. And I'm just going to grab that now and share it on Instagram. And I'll tag you both. For anyone who is here already, you know the drill. I'm sharing links. And
Yay.
I will be with everyone in a second. Okay. Why am I not getting a link option? Oh, there it is. Grab this link. And we've got 2 people watching so far. Hello, hello.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
I'll check the chat in a second if anyone's saying hi. And okay, I've tagged you both in the Instagram one and it is getting posted now. Okay, so everyone knows we're live.
Woohoo!
Hello.
Hello.
Officially to anyone who may be here at the moment. Oh yeah, Billy Bandit, hello. Marc Andre, hello. Also known as Dr. Mab for anyone who watches the Haunted Montreal channel. He's my French co-host.
Oh.
Also a writer in the Stygian collection. Oh, we don't have Sheratan's picture showing up on Zoom. Let me just see if I can.
Oh no.
Yeah, I think there's a setting to show people who are without video, but like I can see in our Zoom window. That's weird.
I see it.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have hide non-video participants selected. That's very weird. So hello, Stephen. So as not to take up people's time with my tech stuff, what I'm going to do is when we do our first sprint, I'm going to do some Googling and see if I can get your picture to show. But for everyone who is here, there are 3 of us.
There's 3.
Yeah.
Yay.
Physically.
Yes.
There could be some around us.
That's true. That's true. And so we have Sheratan Mortis and Sarah Beaupré. And
sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Oh God, during one sprint a couple weeks ago, I was looking up a channel of someone who was commenting and they had a very loud intro and it just like blasted in the middle of a sprint. And I was like, no.
Oh no.
And then he comments and he's like, I heard my intro.
It's like listening to meditation music and then suddenly there's like an advertisement like, yeah. Are you tired? I'm like, no.
Those are the worst.
Yeah, that's awful. You can't do that. If you're going to post meditation music for people to use, do not put advertisement in it. Like,
yeah. And like the thing is you can control where the ads go. So just if you need one, put it at the beginning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Get it over with, get your money, and then,
yeah.
That's it.
Hello to Zenith. And Stephen asks, is this the Ghost Stories edition? It is indeed. This is our wrap up for Camp Rimo. And I think, Stephen, you were one of the people who was suggesting ghost stories. So if not the person. So we are following through. I think it's a great idea and it's going to be a lot of fun. And since we've got 6 people here. Oh, what is a sprint? Oh, okay. Didn't sign up for exercise. So a sprint for those who are not familiar, in the online writing community, there's a thing that we do where we time ourselves and we write in a set amount of time. So I usually do 15 minutes here, especially when I have guests on and we have other conversations. So we'll talk a bit and then we'll write for 15 minutes. And then everyone will sort of say how they did with their writing, how many words they got in, and then we talk a bit more and repeat. And it's a good way to just be productive in a fun way and do your writing with the community. So that's what we were going to be doing. And since it's the end of Camp Rimo, a lot of us are going to be finishing up word counts and stuff like that. I'm editing, so my word count will probably be more sizable. It's because I'm not writing, I'm editing. So yeah, since we've got, now we got 8 people. So since we've got a good amount of people here, I will let my guests introduce themselves. Again, for anyone who just joined, there are 3 of us. On the first sprint, I'm going to look into getting Sheratan's photo up, but I don't want to spend our intro time doing that. So Sarah, if you want to introduce yourself first, tell anything you would like, share anything you like.
Yeah, so my name's Sarah, and I am a amateur ghost hunter, I guess. I mean, I haven't done it in a really long time, but I'm also like a huge like paranormal enthusiast. I've been obsessed with it since I was like a child. I don't know if you remember like YTV having like these ghost shows with like kids going at haunted houses and stuff. I used to love watching that like every Friday night or whatever. And yeah, I was always obsessed with it. And then like, you know, turning into an adult, like 18, 19, you know, I started watching it more and I was like, I'm pretty sure I could do stuff like this too, you know, and just obsessively for a really long time, just watching the shows, but never actually trying to experience it myself. Never had a paranormal experience until I was an adult, like looking for it. And maybe once I hit like 24, 25, I finally was like, you know what? I need to experience something paranormal. So I went to New Orleans and I did this whole seance with a voodoo priestess in a haunted house, and a lot of really fun things happened. I could talk about that in the future, in like, you know, within the next 2 hours or whatnot. And I had my first paranormal experience. I'm like, this is what I want. This is what I want to do. And it's so exciting to me. And yeah, it's so exciting to me. So I just started like getting my own tools and finding more places to ghost hunt, and like just meeting a bunch of like really cool people in the community. So, you know, it became my thing for a while. I mean, I've taken quite a pause since COVID to kind of like work on my mental health. So I don't do it as much as I'd want to. I would love to do it more, but I'm just concentrating more on like just the basics. So yeah, so for the ghost hunting, I'm like, I love it. I love anything about paranormal. And I also do a lot of video games. I also stream on Twitch a lot. And I used to. Right now I'm working on my mental health, so it's been a couple of months since I last streamed, but I love video games. And yeah, I'm usually playing online and everything. Got like all like these crazy lights on, and
You've got a great setup. I was saying earlier, I'm like, oh, this is awesome. I love it.
Yeah, even my keyboard like goes with my voice. So when I talk in it, it just kind of like changes lights. I don't know if you could see it right now because there's so much lights right now, but every time I talk, it just kind of like just starts like lighting up.
Pulses.
And everything just lights up. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Very dramatic and extra because I'm a very extra person, I guess. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much just a little rundown. Artistically, I'm not really, I mean, everything in my life is kind of artistic. I consider myself an artist, but in what way? Like just, I guess in every way. I don't know. I really have no idea, but I do find myself kind of creative.
You do photo shoots and stuff like that. That's how we met on a photo shoot.
Yes, exactly. Photo shoots, anything artistic. You know, yeah, if I find a photographer I really like and they have like really good ideas, the creepy photo shoots and stuff, like, you know, Sean Mundy's stuff is like amazing and super creepy and like, you know, so yeah.
Yeah, the concepts are great.
Yeah. His concepts are amazing.
Cool.
That's really cool.
Zenith had said, are you afraid of the dark on YTV? Yes. Oh, hello to Devil's Air. Great to see you. And Sarah is not writing, actually, just for an update, since you asked. Sarah is our ghost hunter.
Yes, but I will do automatic writing, which is either subconscious or something around me kind of controlling my hand. We don't know. That's a surprise.
So we're going to talk about that in between sprints, which I think is going to be very cool. Okay, so to introduce Sheratan, for anyone who's just showing up, we do have a third person. I'm going to try and fix the issue of their photo not showing on our first sprint, but introduce yourself, Sheratan.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sheratan Mortis. I'm an interdisciplinary artist and also a writer. I've met Holly through a program that we were doing together, and since it has been since last year that we started to do sprints together,
Mhm.
writing sprints, and we are working together also to release on June our Stygian anthology, which is
Yes.
extremely exciting. And yeah, I have always been very interested in the paranormal. But I come from a very religious community and family, so it was very hard for me to not be believed in a while.
Mm.
And but yeah, I have experienced some interesting things that I'm so excited to share with you guys today. So I'm super excited to be here.
Awesome. I'm so glad to have you both here. I think this is going to be a very interesting sprinting session. Uh,
Absolutely.
Devil's Air. So you are hunting me. I am as white as a ghost and see-through sometimes. If you're see-through sometimes, you might want to get that checked.
Yeah.
Hey Ian, how's it going? Nice to see you. Having a very good day. It's a bit gloomy outside, but I like that. So
I just blacked out my entire apartment. I have no idea what's going on outside.
nice. That's the ideal. We usually have all the like the curtains closed, but in the kitchen we get this laser beam sun in. So I'm looking to install curtains in there now because
Oh,
it's
yeah.
terrible.
But the
Yeah.
cats must love it.
They do. Yes,
Yeah,
they do.
yeah.
Oh yeah, and by the way, I do have 2 cats for those of you who know that I do cat boarding. So sometimes I have them, sometimes I don't. There are 2 in here right now, and I have to share the names because I love them. Their names are Egbert and Gilly Mott. It's so cute. So they might be charging around fighting, or they might have worn themselves out because I just gave them a catnip party. So okay, so since it's heading to like 2:16, I think we should do our first sprint, and we're going to tell stories after the first sprint. So I want you to get a little bit of writing in, and then we'll listen to some spooky paranormal campfire stories. And if anyone wants to ask questions about the stories or maybe share some of their own in the chat, you are welcome to do so. And also let us know what you're working on. As I said earlier, I'm still editing. So I'm working on editing Centera, my massive fantasy story. And Sheraton, what are you working on?
I'm working on doing a little bit more of the scripts that I was talking to you about last Thursday, last sprints. So yeah, basically I'm editing those scripts this time.
Okay, awesome. So it's editor Rimo.
Yay!
Oh, also I have my camp shirt on from last year's camp. It's actually my favorite NaNoWriMo shirt. I think the
It
design
is
is awesome.
so awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so without further delay, I'm going to set us up for 15 minutes. So everyone who's writing, get ready to write, and we will see you after that for some campfire stories.
Woo!
Okay, off we go. right, time is up. That is our first little sprint. And sorry for the brief interruption in music. When I shift apps around, it stops the music. Zoom
It's
is
fine.
not
I was double
flawless.
checking something didn't happen on my end. I'm like, okay, we're good. We're
Oh
good.
yeah, no, it was me moving things around. But we do have Sheraton's picture here. It's a partial video thing, I think, but at least
Oh
it's
yeah.
showing.
It's 3 of us now, so
Yes, so that is good
Good.
because I could not fix it and there was just nothing about it. And I posted on Twitter, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I tried also several things, but it was not working out.
Yeah, it's so weird. But I mean, this works. I don't know what that symbol is like in the middle, but
I
it's fine.
I think it's trying to recognize my face, but since
Oh,
like my camera is not present, it's just
yeah.
replacing it with that wonderful symbol. That's my face, just lines.
Yes. Well, that's fine, I think. At least we've got this so that when you're talking, it doesn't just look like we're miming or something. Or
Mhm.
So I did manage to get through 130 words of editing, even though I was looking around for other stuff too.
That's amazing. I only was able to do 98.
It's the first one though. Like it's always like that.
Yeah.
Everyone in the chat, let us know how you did. And Sarah, how did the automatic writing go?
I got like a bunch of different fonts going on, so I'm assuming that I could definitely tell that my grandfather was writing. It sounds so crazy, I know, but
No.
yeah, I could tell how he speaks and how he writes, and it's all in cursive because I think automatic writing for them it's easier to control with just cursive because they don't have to like lift and then go to the next letter. I do have I think 3 different fonts, so 3 different people. My grandfather being one, and one person who just keeps on talking about Jessica, which I don't know who Jessica is, but it has definitely come up in the past, like on previous papers and stuff. So Jessica,
Interesting.
something about a watch. Yeah, it's always Jessica, where's my watch, or something like that. I'm like, who's Jessica and what watch? So yeah.
What did you do with it, Jessica?
Yeah, is there a Jessica in the chat?
Jessica, where are you and where's his watch?
How dare you?
Yeah, but it's fairly wholesome. It's like what are you doing, Sarah? Which I think they're kind of confused and they're like, love you, feeling better. I hope you're feeling better. We're always going to be here. We want everything. We want you to feel better. And something like that. I'm like, oh, that's so sweet. Because I think I was just talking about like mental health, taking a break from mental health. And like, we want you to feel better. I'm like, okay, thank you. It's always wholesome.
Very nice.
So. And then there's Jessica. The Jessica character is just like,
Jessica's the villain here, but everyone else is pretty wholesome.
Yeah, the thief, the watch thief.
Yeah.
Watch for the watch thief.
Zenith got 970 words in. Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a good count.
I don't know how to do 970 words in like 15 minutes. That's like impressive.
Yeah.
I don't even think I know 970 words.
I think the most I've got when I was drafting, like in a 15-minute sprint, was maybe like 650, 70. And it was just like very fast conversational stuff. So it wasn't like, it's pretty easy when you're just in a conversation. It's just back and forth, back and forth. It goes pretty quickly for me anyway.
Definitely.
So welcome to anyone who has just arrived. I saw some numbers sort of go up and then back down again. So I don't know if we had people leave and come back or some new people come in. So if you're new, welcome. And we are going to tell some campfire stories now on our break before we do another sprint. So Sarah, if you want to kick it off, you had teased this story about going to New Orleans, and that sounded pretty amazing.
Oh, yeah. I'll start with that because it was like my first paranormal experience. So I was going through some like personal stuff and I always wanted to go to New Orleans. And I know it's like the voodoo type of place. There's just like a lot of like crazy stuff that happens there. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go to NOLA and I actually bought this experience off of like some sort of Groupon thing. I'm like,
oh yeah,
it's like experience a seance of the voodoo priest. And I'm like, that's kind of creepy. Okay, let's do this. And it definitely didn't like disappoint. And like, it started like on the streets of New Orleans where he would give us dowsing rods and he was like, this is how you use them. You have to like shake them and you ask the universe, I guess, what is yes and what is no. So it will kind of like, it'll be like, okay, universe, what is yes? And then it'll just kind of like cross, it'll do whatever you're doing. Like not everyone's dowsing rods do the same, but this meant yes for me. And then like this meant no for me. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I could ask yes and no questions and then, I'll get a response. So we did like just like this ghost tour, like a walking ghost tour. And he was telling ghost stories about the homes. And then we ended up at a haunted place, some random old barber shop. But I don't know the story about the whole thing, but we went upstairs. He's like, go around, ask your yes and no questions, and then we're all going to sit down and we're going to talk about all the answers that we got. And we all sat down. He's like, all right, what did you get? Like, okay, well, I got a female, I got this, I got that. And pretty much everyone's answers was like correct. And he was like, I will prove it to you. This is like the news that like came out about this place. And like, I think it was about a slave who got impregnated and then she got murdered by the man's wife or something. And it was like, everyone was getting like spot on answers. And it was like, wow. It was really cool, but not like super like intense. But then he's like, all right, now we're going to do a seance. We're going to turn off the lights, turn on the candles. And he did like this. Yeah, we did the seance. Nothing was happening like that much. And I was like, I had my eyes wide open. It was pitch dark, but I'm like, I'm looking for shadows. I'm like, I know what to look for. So I'm like, I'm looking everywhere and I'm trying to find like anything happening whatsoever. And nothing was happening for like 10, 15 minutes. And then suddenly the girl that I was holding hands with, like next to me, she just started crying, bawling her eyes out. And she's like, I don't know why I'm crying. And I'm like, that's really weird. And then I started feeling kind of sick and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And everyone just started freaking out for no reason. Nothing was physically happening, but like people could feel something was like acting up inside of the room, like was starting to feel electric and stuff. And then like, yeah, people were starting to freak out, like, yo, can we end this? And again, like nothing was happening, but then stuff started happening. People started feeling like little pokes on them. And then right behind me and the girl who was crying, something got thrown at us. And from right behind, and there's a wall behind me. So I'm like, what is that? And he was like, whatever you do, don't let go of each other's hands. And then like, when something got thrown at me, I swerved, like, oh, like I didn't know what it was. I didn't know if it was something huge or whatever. I just heard it and felt like the wind and felt like a tap. I didn't know if there's like something else that was gonna fall behind it. And so we're freaking out. I was like, don't let go of hands. Like he started panicking too. And he was like, no one let go of hands. And we're like, okay, we need to end this. And then he was like, all right. So he closed the doors. And then as we were closing the doors, he was bringing around, I think it's like pureed eggshells or something that you put on your third eye to like help cleanse and close the door. But for some reason, I felt like I was underwater. I couldn't understand what he was saying. I was like going under and he was like in slow motion, like, Sarah, what's happening? I'm like, I don't know. And I became super clammy and pale. And they're like, Sarah, you're pale. You need to sit down. And I couldn't get my finger inside of the puree. I was trying to stick my finger inside it. And I was just like slowly, like, I don't know what it was. And they had to put me down on a chair and I couldn't get my finger inside. Like every time I tried to get inside the little container, I would miss it. And it was just, and I wasn't drunk or anything. Like it's just, I wasn't normal. And then, so what he did is he put his finger inside of it and immediately touched my third eye. And then right away, it all stopped.
Oh, wow.
It all completely stopped. And I was like back. And I still to this day have no idea what happened. It's fun to think that like I got possessed and this and that, just like crazy stuff like that. But, that happened and I felt so like sick and like it was terrifying and it was so exciting. And I was like, oh, I love this so much. And so I talked to him after and he was like, I don't know what happened to you. And I was like, I found this on Groupon, by the way. I'm like, this is not things people should be experiencing from Groupon.
I know when you said that, like voodoo on Groupon. What?
I know. It's like experience like a seance and like, be possessed for $18. I'm like, whoa.
Get possessed for $18.
Yeah, like be possessed for $18. I'm like, yeah, duh. We want to try that. Anyways, so that kind of opened the door to like experiencing. I was like, no, I need to do that again. That was dope.
Yeah. I just imagine the reviews saying, oh, Sarah says, oh, I adored being possessed. You should do it too.
I didn't leave it. I think they closed, like I think they removed themselves off of Groupon, but I would have definitely been like 4 stars because I got possessed, but everything else is really fun.
I feel like you'd get a
should
mix
have,
of
but-
things with that. Either like 0 stars got possessed or 10 out of 10 got possessed.
Yeah, exactly.
You go like
yeah.
one of two ways with that.
Or no, I'd be like, I would give 5 stars, but there was a lot of stairs going up that into that entrance. So
The possession was fine though.
Yeah, the possession was 10 out of 10, but 4 out of 5 because the staircase was like really high and small or something ridiculous like that. So yeah, that was my first paranormal experience. It was really cool.
That's
Oh,
so
wow.
wild. So
Yeah.
wild.
Oh, I'd love to do that.
It is fun. I don't know if it exists anymore, but
Definitely not on Groupon.
no.
I mean, it's New Orleans, right? So there has to be something, if not that specific thing, something similar to that for sure.
Yeah,
know
I'm
that
sure stuff still
there's-
exists.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of like more underground stuff like that you should avoid, but it
Yeah.
would be good to find one that's, safe like that,
Yeah.
relatively safe.
Yeah.
Just have to do some research, I guess.
Mhm.
So, Sheratan, did you want to share one of your stories?
Yeah, actually, which one should I say first? Okay, so I'll start with one that happened a couple of years ago, actually in Lachine Canal. So normally, my partner and I go have some walks at night because we're weird like that.
That's the best.
Yeah, and we have this direct path to go to Lachine Canal. We walk usually all the way to our Atwater Market. So it's like anywhere between 30 minutes to 2 hour walk, depends how fast or slow you do. And we were on our way back from that area of the Atwater Market going towards our house. And there's this railings, right, that at a certain point you have an entrance that allows you to be closer to the canal and you can see a little bit of scenery. So we were not right there in that area, but we were closing in and we saw a couple of people there, and we didn't thought much about it. It was just like, oh, look, people and experiencing the scenery at night. How cool. We kept talking, and when we got really, really close, we didn't saw these people, and there were like 2 or 3 people, and we were like, where did they go? Like there was nowhere they could have gone. But my partner always finds logic and everything, so she was like, well, maybe they went into the trees and we just can't see them because it's so dark. And I'm like, oh, that makes sense. So we closed in. We actually went inside that area, and we saw a flashlight that was open on the bottom of Lachine Canal, and I'm like, oh my god, there's a flashlight right there. What's happening? Like definitely someone was here recently because it's on. And we started to joke about it, and we said, oh, can you imagine if someone was down there? And as we said that, the flashlights just went off completely. And we were like, okay, what do we do about this? I am starting to get a little freaked out, so let's just move on. So we started to walk further, and then the next day we went back, and we didn't saw any flashlights. So that was very creepy to think about what had happened exactly that night and why. Especially because in that area of near Atwater Market, there's a lot of sightings and everything.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that to me was definitely very creepy to experience right there.
And you didn't see like any other sign of those people. They just vanished.
No,
That's
no.
so weird.
But it's like, I don't know if it happens to you guys. Like there's like when you have people that walk around you, you don't only see them, but you can feel them, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So while we were walking, I could still feel these people, but I couldn't see them anywhere. And I'm like, this is so bizarre. Why, like,
Interesting.
how, where did they go? And, I had like that curiosity to go inside where the trees were. to see if I could find them. But at the same time, I was so scared that I'm like, no, let's just keep walking where the light is. I don't know like what's going on, so I rather not risk it. But yeah, that was definitely an interesting experience that happened to us.
Love it.
Yeah, you have to, like, you always have to trust those gut feelings, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always say in like ghost hunting or feeling like in spirits and whatsoever, your best tool is your gut. 100%. 100%. You would feel it. Like when I'm doing automatic writing, immediately I get the gut feeling like, okay, this is not me right now, you know? And
Yeah.
yeah, the gut feeling is always very good.
Yeah.
I
Well,
like it.
I only have, let's see, I have sort of two main stories. So, because I don't experience a lot of paranormal stuff, and it's one of the reasons why I want to push myself into it more. And so I had mentioned to you both when we were first talking before we went live that there's a reason for that. And so my dad was very involved in paranormal stuff when he was younger. He actually was either going to go into that professionally, like ghost hunting and being a medium and stuff, because he had a lot of signs pushing him in that direction, and like covens had told him to do it. But it was either that or color comics, and he chose coloring comics. um, but he had some terrifying experiences when he was younger, like ones where he had superhuman strength and stuff, like, you know, one of those heavy picnic tables that is like on the ground in a park that is not supposed to move. He like lifted one
Yeah.
up and stuff like that. Quite a few stories like that, but at a certain point, he became what he calls a dampener. So which has been good, but like also kind of bad if you want that stuff around. So his ex-wife at one point was being followed by this entity that she said was like a satyr. And every time he couldn't see it, but she could. And every time he was around, it stayed away. Like it would avoid him. If he walked towards it, it would walk away from him, and these things would stay away. So I think if that's something that could be inherited, I might have inherited a bit of that.
Oh,
Because
Wow.
I've been open to it, and I've been interested, and I've been in places where other people have had experiences and I haven't. So I don't know if it's just my luck or or something to do with that. But once when I was little, my mom and I had a weird experience. We always lived in old houses, like in Winnipeg, where I'm from, these like big 2.5-story rambling old houses. And there was one when I was like 8 years old. My mom would always read to me. So we'd lie in bed and we'd read, and there was a store, like a floor above us. And one night we just heard marbles rolling across the floor. Like it was as if someone took like 50 marbles and just put them down and rolled them across the floor. And this wasn't like a very angled floor. It wouldn't have done that in that way, like maybe a little bit, but not in the way we heard it. And we would just lie there staring up at it and just sort of not acknowledge it. And it happened a couple times. And then there was one night where my dad walked in and he just opened the door and he saw us just staring up at the ceiling.
Oh my
And
God.
he goes, "What are you doing?" And my mom goes, "We're listening to the marbles." And then it stopped right when he came in, and it never happened again.
that's so
Yeah,
interesting.
so that's one of mine, and my weird dampener father.
That is really cool. And I think maybe that what that could be is in the previous life. I forgot the term of it, but there's a sort of haunting where they can't physically like communicate with you. They're pretty much on like a record of what they used to do back in the days. Like you hear them going up the stairs, going down the stairs. And it happens in churches a lot. If you're like sensitive to energies and stuff, you walk into a church, you will feel it, because it's just
Yeah.
like there's like a record of these people going in and out, and even like the cross and everything just has so much energy on it, because there's
Oh,
like
yeah.
a record of like energy that was put into it. So maybe what you were experiencing inside of this house was once these kids who used to throw marbles down the hallway or whatever, and you're still hearing it.
Yeah.
And you would like hear it every now and then. But it's interesting that it stopped once you started talking about it. So that's
Yeah.
kind of cool.
Yeah. And well, one thing we found out later, this house was very weird. And for anyone who wants to write, I won't keep you much longer on this break. But one thing we found out, this house was very strange. When we moved in on the half story, so like the third level, we thought there was like one room on either end, and then there was a closet. And my mom and I were out walking the dog one day, and she looked up and there was a window where the closet was, but there wasn't a window there. She's like, what is that? And then we realized there was a room sealed up behind the closet. And we had like
Oh
a
my God.
party where everyone guessed what would be sealed up there. You know, people were guessing like dead bodies and money and things like that. And there wasn't anything exciting, but that room had such a strong, weird energy that it was supposed to be a place where we were going to make it into like a play place for me when I was younger. And like I'd always think, oh, I should go and play in the secret room. And I never really wanted to, because there was something in there, and there were lots of dark corners, and it was an unfinished room sort of like under the eaves, and there was very weird energy there. So that top floor, like I didn't want to be there alone at night and stuff like that. But we did find out that there was a child who died in the house after we talked to some people in the neighborhood who had been there longer. And there was also an old lady, apparently, that someone who we were very sensitive to said that she was sitting there. I never saw anything. She's like, oh, she's sitting in the corner. So
Just like that.
yeah, there was stuff in that house for sure. I wish I'd seen more, honestly.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Oh, Alex says, Holly, you can train that part of you and get to a point you can turn it off and on, choosing what you want closed and what you want to keep away. That like I know about that, which is one of the reasons why I'm more trying to expose myself more and get more interested. But I also know I have to do that properly without opening myself up too much and not being, reckless about it. So
I find when you, and it's such like a typical thing for people to say, but meditation really, really helps like open and close yourself. I find right now I'm going through a phase where I'm closed, so I can't feel the signs and this and that from like things surrounding me right now because I'm so like stressed and this and that. But if you meditate and you learn how to feel your emotions, then you could start feeling these things again. Because maybe it's happening to you right now, like, and you just don't know because you're closed right now. But like with meditation and like feeling how to like breathing and speaking out loud and this and that, I find I just go through like phases where I could sense and feel a lot of things surrounding me. And then when I'm really stressed, it's just closed. So you can open and close the door as much as you want. I mean, I never, ever want to close the door, but unfortunately it happens, but I could just get it right back. Like it just goes through phases. So I think maybe with like a bit of meditation, even automatic writing, just closing your eyes, breathing, and just leaving your hands alone on the paper. And then it starts, like writing or drawing or just anything that isn't you will start happening. Maybe, hopefully,
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm certainly going to explore that more. Oh, this is very interesting conversation. Both of your stories are great. So I'm going to let people write a little bit more, and I'm going to see if I can edit a bit more this time. So we're going to do another 15 minutes. And if anyone, like I said before, if anyone has their own stories you want to share in the chat while we are taking our little writing break, please do share. We're very interested to hear what you have to say. And I'm going to get our timer going, and we will tell some more stories in 15 minutes. See you then.
See you then.
Bye.
Time's up. That one went pretty fast.
Mhm.
I had also had a cat visitor, so
I
didn't-
got jealous.
I didn't felt it at all. And the cat was absolutely adorable.
I know.
I think we all stopped. We're like, cat.
He just jumped up and he was rubbing my face so much. It was so
Aw.
cute. Earlier, like he loves booping his nose against my face, and he did it like
Oh,
right
yeah.
into my lipstick earlier and had brown
Oh,
all over his
no.
nose. I was trying to get him off. I'm
Aw.
like, no. He looked so dumb.
It's so cute.
Yeah, he's so sweet
It's
though,
adorable.
Egbert.
I try to
Egbert.
be not near my cat with lipstick because he always boops my head directly, like just like headbutts, you know?
Yeah.
Aw, he wants lipstick too.
Yeah.
Like at least this is vegan lipstick. It's safe.
Yeah,
It's safe for him
right.
to lick off.
That's good.
So I still edited like 462 words, so that's something.
That's
Oh,
good.
wow.
How
Yeah,
about you,
pretty cool.
Sheridan?
I was able to edit a little bit more. I would say like it's like 230.
Good.
Yeah. So
I didn't have too much happen except I got a weird phone call from the number 2599. It's like I don't get
Oh.
it. It's just the number 2599.
That's
So I
weird.
just kind of searched it. I'm like, what does 2599 mean? And it
Mhm.
comes up with this message relates of the fields of personality development and creativity and says that there's a possibility that the process of self-improvement has become running in circles. Kind of like, you know, how I was saying I was kind of like stalling like the ghost hunting and the streaming and this and that
Yeah.
because I was
Yeah.
kind of working on my mental health. And it says, yeah, my self-improvement has become running in circles and I got caught up in it. And the reason is absence of a creative component in this process. You are acting according to a standard instead of taking your personality traits as a basis. It is a dead end path of development for you. Correct it immediately.
Oh
And I'm
wow.
like, oh. So I just thought that was kind of funny that phone call came in while I was saying like, you know, I'm just not doing much creatively and like doing
Yeah.
like my hobbies and stuff because I'm just working on my mental health. And it's like, yeah, if you want to work on your mental health, you become creative kind of
Yeah.
thing.
yeah,
So it's interesting. Yeah.
it's like work on your mental health while being yourself.
Yeah, that's how you
Which
work on
is
your mental health
awesome.
is doing creative stuff. And I'm like,
Mhm.
oh my God, you know, ghost hunting and video games is not like creative, but I do consider anything that you have to put like thought and love into to be art. So,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
in a way that's like my type of art. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I
get
think
to
that's
see-
artistic.
Yeah.
And emotional, like art has a big emotional component. And I think when you're ghost hunting and dealing with that, you know, genre of things, that's a very emotional pursuit.
Oh yeah,
I would say
absolutely.
so.
Absolutely.
So I thought that was pretty interesting. I've never seen that
is.
before.
Wow, timing.
Yeah, it was great.
Golnuth said, my cat just screams at me whenever he wants food.
It's rude.
Very rude. Oh, and hello, Mr. Morningstar. Good to see you. We are talking about spooky stuff. So, and doing some writing. So if you want to stick around, there'll be some good stories, which we will dive into now. Do you want to
Mhm.
start with one this time, Sheratan?
Yeah, for sure. So, my family and I believe that actually our apartment is haunted. It started maybe 5 years ago, I think. Yeah, we have been here for a while now. But so I have two balconies, the front balcony and the back balcony, right? We're in a second floor. And on the back balcony, there's I don't know how to explain it. It basically there's a back alley that has a light, right? And so there's a lot of shadows at night. And we thought at the beginning that, you know, like what we were seeing were shadows from that light just reflecting on other stuff. But it was very interesting because it was like different members of our family experiencing different things and none of us talking to each other about it.
Find that happens a lot.
Yeah. So it was it always it looks like the shadow of a man, like a bald man, big guy, bald man, just standing in the in the back right? So at first we thought, oh, maybe it was the neighbor or something, but there was one time that it was my girlfriend and a friend of ours and I, and it was 3 o'clock in the morning. All the lights were off, and we saw the shadow again, but we all saw it at the same time, and we're like, hey, there's someone definitely back in the back balcony. We need to do something about it. And as we got close, there was no one. Like, but you could back off and see it, but when you would get closer, like no one was there. And
Oh, it's so weird.
it was very weird. So again, we were like, no, it may be just the play of the lights, nothing major. So one of my family members has like one of her bedrooms is right besides the balcony, so you can see the window and you can see the balcony. And one day she was very spooked because she said, "Oh, there's someone actually like peeking in my window."
Mm-mm.
And she described a bald guy, and we, we were freaking out because we hadn't talked to her about it at all. And at a certain point, we finally opened the conversation in the family, like what's going on. And so we have like uh, three bedrooms, right? One in the back and two in the front. And the other person that used the other bedroom in the front, she was also freaking out a lot and saying, well, like I thought that I was going crazy because sometimes, like I walk and there's I clearly see a man on the hallway, and no one had described her the man. She described again a bald, big man, and so that sometimes she also dreams about this person. So when we actually started to compare stories, we were all freaking out, and there's a lot of things happening. Sometimes you hear like just whispers, and we don't know if one of us whispered or was something that came out of nowhere. Doors have opened, especially like closet doors out of nowhere. They just open. Things like that happen, but they happen, they don't happen like that often. They have happened mostly at night and sporadically here and there. So it's not something that we are like in high alert all the time. But yeah, it's something that we forget about, and then it restarts over and over again, and then we're spooked about. Usually when we're all spooked about, like, is the time when we all end up like sleeping on the same room.
Yeah.
Because we are not sure what it is about. And sometimes but it's very interesting because the energy is not angry, but at the same time it's not pleasant.
It's just annoying and
it is just annoying because
intrusive.
yeah, and you sometimes you are completely okay, and sometimes you clearly feel someone just staring at you. And
Oh.
yeah, that's why we constantly keep like our lights on. Like Hydro Quebec doesn't like love us very much because
They love you because they're making money off you.
well, yeah, it's true, but it is very, very concerning because of that. There's like we don't know what's going on, and we have for the first 3 years that we were living here, we have made excuse after excuse, explanation after explanation. But after all these years, we are like, I give up. There's a ghost in our house, clearly. So, or I don't know what it is, but
Some
yeah,
sort of presence.
yeah, actually, like I was also gonna say that my family members are in the chat now, so if they want to
Oh.
like share more of their stories about like these encounters, feel free to do so. But yeah.
Yeah, definitely. When you said about him showing up in dreams, I immediately thought about this man, that Reddit phenomenon. I just linked
Oh
it in the
yeah,
chat.
I don't know what you're talking about.
yeah.
I just found out about it recently. My friend was telling me she's going to buy pants with his picture all over them, and I was like, "What is this?" So I looked it up, and he's kind of balding.
This man. That's it?
Yeah, yeah. This man.
Huh.
Someone started posting this drawing, and then a bunch of people started reporting about how they had all seen this man in their dreams. And there's a whole
Oh,
site
thanks.
of people reporting it, how they've all seen him.
Interesting.
weird.
Now we're all gonna see him. Okay. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
down, whatever.
Yeah. He's gonna be in your dreams now.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, Marc Andre said, are you located in one of the old factories along the canal?
No, I am not, but we are definitely close to the Lachine Canal, like maybe less than 5 minute or 10-minute walk from here. So
Oh.
hello.
Yeah,
Sorry.
just got cut for a second.
Yeah, no problem. So yeah, it's we have the Lachine Canal pretty close, and there's always like weird things happening in the area for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always got feelings when I would go through there, like under the bridges and stuff, like where the swing bridge, like the old swing bridges and everything. It's heavy energy there.
This
Definitely.
is all in Griffintown for both of you?
Yeah,
Yeah. Griffintown has a lot of stories. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, it's my favorite Haunted Montreal blog material, all the Griffintown stuff. So
Oh
rich.
yeah. I did that tour once, and there was a full moon, and a girl just passed out. She just
Oh my
like they were telling a ghost story, and she just bam right on the floor because she had like a
Wow.
medical issue, and her sister was just like, oh yeah, I know this happens all the time.
Okay.
So, it was just the timing was great. I was like, ooh,
That's the type of review you want for your haunted tour.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow.
Definitely.
So another story from you, Sarah?
Yeah, of course. And this might kind of help both of you actually, because yeah, you'll hear it towards the end. You'll see maybe it'll help with like your haunting at home or anything like that. But so this is a really fun story. Once I was like, I need to get into ghost hunting and stuff, it's a fairly small community. So it's really hard, and it's hard to just kind of like approach people and be like, yo, can I come in your house with tools and stuff? And just like, it's really hard to start.
It
So
is.
I was literally messaging people like within 100 kilometers of Montreal, and I'm like, any sort of like ghost community, I'm like, yo, can I come in and like do stuff with you? Anyway, so I did reach out to these lovely people, the Phantoms of Yore in L'Orignal, Quebec. And they are a ghost hunting group who are still very active. What they do is they host these public ghost hunts, which if you do want to go ghost hunting, you can and experience it like a real ghost hunt, we could go together. We could go and do ghost hunts with them, because it's amazing. They give you the tools and everything. It's really fun, and you get to learn a lot, and you get to experience stuff. Maybe most of the time you do. I do anyways.
It's like
yeah,
the one
so
park one that Haunted Montreal is doing now. Not right now, but I know it's going to come back soon with 13
really?
Spirits. Yeah, 13 Spirits
I
does
didn't.
one.
Oh, is that with the French guy?
Dom. He does a French one and an English, and it's
Yeah.
in the what's the name of the park? The downtown one that's the burial
Yeah.
ground. Yeah.
Yeah. It's we're like that big yeah, that's where because I was doing the English ghost hunts.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I left, and then he started doing them.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So I messaged them, and I was like all pumped up talking about ghosts and stuff, like, hey Sarah, why don't you come to the prison and like, or the jail. I don't know if it's a prison or a jail. I think it's a jail, but I might call it prison because I just don't know the difference. And like, why don't you come here and do the ghost hunt, free of charge, and you could talk to like there was like a Quebec ghost hunt woman who was there, and she has like her own team of people. She's like, come meet her. You guys can maybe like do like a group together or something. So I went there. I don't think she liked me that much, but it's okay because I was still like very amateur. And but these guys, I connected with them so well. Anyway, so this entire night, we had a couple of tools. We had a Ouija board. They know that I've had like unique experiences with the Ouija board. So they're like, oh, Sarah, let's put you in solitary confinement with the Ouija board. And I was like, yeah, let's do this, man. In this prison or jail or whatever you want to call it. And I was like, yeah, let's do this. And there was a non-believer, a skeptic, who was with me. And what we did was I made him use the Ouija board, and it wasn't making a lot of sense, but it was moving, and he was touching it, and he was like, I'm not touching it, it's moving. So he was like no longer skeptic. And during this whole time we were being recorded, like there's cameras all over, they're following you around and everything like that. So that's an important part. Anyways, yeah, so the Ouija board was moving, and the reason why I think it wasn't working well is because there's so many ghosts that they're all kind of like trying to say stuff. So it's moving around, but it's just not making sense. And I think that's why it wasn't. And there's English and there's French there. So you got to like take that into consideration, that, they're just kind of all fighting and they can't come up with word. So yeah, we're doing that. I was asking questions out loud. Not much was happening like physically or whatever that night, just a couple of like little lights flickering on and off, whatever. But yeah, we were being recorded in solitary confinement. And yeah, so the night was super successful. I was really happy. I was so thankful for the experience. And I went along with my week at home, going to work, coming back, this and that. The week after, though, I got home and I started feeling really, really weird in my apartment. And I think at that point, my Xbox just randomly turned on. It did like the doo-doo-doo, and it just like started running. And I was like, okay, maybe the cat kind of touched it because it was like a very sensitive button. And then my air conditioner that was unplugged just started beeping for no reason. And I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. And literally the whole night, I slept with like the blanket over my head and I was shaking. I felt like I was being watched the entire night. And I'm like, this is so weird. What is this? What is this? And I was shaking the entire night and I couldn't, like, there was just no explanation to it whatsoever. And then like, I didn't sleep the entire night. I went to work and one of my coworkers seen me. He's like, "Huh, Sarah, what's wrong? You look like you've seen a ghost." And I'm like, "Nah." Because I was super like white. And then the Phantoms of Yore guys posted the video of me in solitary confinement with the Ouija board, and the video camera caught audio that we were not able to hear with our ears. And the audio said, "We're going to come and find you."
Oh,
no.
And I was like, no, stop. And I messaged
From
them,
all
like,
the things.
yes. And I messaged them. I'm like, "You hear that, right? You hear that they said they're going to come find me?" And they're like, "Yeah, something like that." I'm like, "Okay, well,
yeah,
I'm pretty sure they
like
found me." I'm like, "Okay, I'm pretty sure they found me." And like, it wasn't like terrifying, like what you like, what Sheridan said. It wasn't like mean. It was just like annoying and intrusive. And yeah, so I was like, "Oh my God, like I'm pretty sure they're in my apartment right now." And he's like, I didn't know what to do. They're like, "Oh, maybe just like tell them to go or like bang pots and stuff." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll try that." And I was just hang
I've
pots.
never heard of that to get rid of ghosts.
Yeah,
Isn't that for a bear? That's for bears.
It's a bear ghost. I think it's like a more of a witchcraft type of thing to get rid of spirits, like, or I don't know. I think that's what witches do. But
supposedly the sound is supposed to be unbearable, but
yeah,
I'm not sure about it. Unbearable, get it? Yeah.
Oh my God.
Exactly. So I was like, okay, well that's a little extra. I don't know if I'm gonna do that. But anyways, I had like a whole like spiritual support group with a couple of girlfriends from like pretty much around the States. And I was like, "What do I do?" And they're like, "Go buy sage and like state your intentions, tell them to get out of the house, open up all of your windows, let all the smoke go out, close all the windows, seal it shut, and tell them your intentions that they need to leave and all that kind of stuff." I was like, "Okay, but not tonight because I'm terrified." And I went to go sleep at my friend's house for 2 nights. And yeah, and I was also unable to find sage anywhere in Montreal. And then I finally found like this random like Indian gift shop. And I'm like, "You have sage?" She's like, "Yeah." And it's just like this just cheap sage. I'm like, "What? I don't care." So I came home, I did exactly that, and it just stopped. And I was like,
That's good.
"Okay." I was like, "Okay, so I don't have to be afraid anymore." So yeah, that happened. It was super dope. It was a really cool experience. Again, I'm like, how intrusive. I love it.
I guess it's like
a really spooky experience.
Like them saying, "You intruded on our space, so we're going to intrude on yours."
Exactly. And like, just for like a night or two, and like, and then we'll leave. So they left, and I'm really happy. So yeah, so in short, I think maybe what you can do if you're uncomfortable in your home is you could try and do the same thing. I mean, it worked for me. And if it was all like mental in my head, like, "Oh, there's things in here," or it still helped me, and I felt relieved once I did it. And sage smells really good. So you could burn, state your intentions, open up all the windows, and then close all of the windows, close all the doors, seal it shut. And you could do some research, and it worked really well for me. And that's something you can do if you're a little uncomfortable in your house.
Well, it's actually interesting that you mentioned that, because we do actually have sage, but we don't use it that much.
Oh, well, try it and speak out loud. It's important to speak out loud. Be like, "Yo, whatever you are, like, you're not allowed here. Like, thank you for visiting, but you got to go now." Or if you live here, just like be quiet, chill, do your thing in your corner when we're gone. And then, when we're here, just like be nice,
Yeah, we actually do that a lot when we feel super uncomfortable. It's like, "Hey, we know that you're here. Could you go back to the back balcony? We would appreciate that a lot."
That's nice. We're just like, we could live together, but outside.
And and we also do a lot of aromatherapy, so I find that
Mm,
actually helps a bit, whether
really?
it is for paranormal or mental health situations,
Yeah.
that has improved significantly our lifestyle. So
Oh, good.
I think I'd have to ask my dad about this, but maybe you've heard of it. Whenever we moved houses when I was younger, my parents, and I can't remember, so like I might be wrong, but I think it was just with a candle, they would do like a perimeter. They would, before anything got moved into the house, and I think it doesn't have to be like before you move in, it could be, current. They would just sort of go around the perimeter of every room with a candle, sort of trying to put good energy into the space. But there was something they
Mm.
said in each corner. I'd have to look it up, but there is something to
Mm,
do with that. If you look up sort of a like candle cleansing ritual for the home,
okay.
I mean, that also might be why we had sort of controlled paranormal stuff in these old houses that
Oh,
we were
possibly
living in. Because
you kind of like locked it in
yeah, like
or locked it out.
my mom and dad would both always do that, like any new place that we moved in.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah.
a good
I
thing
think
to know.
different cultures, religions, I think all have different techniques. And I like to like pick at all of them because they're all,
Mhm.
it works for everyone. So I'm just like, I mix it up and I'm like, okay, well, the witches do this and the Indians do that. And,
Yeah.
so I like it.
Well, Polish, like I'm Ukrainian and Polish, and Slavic witchcraft uses sand circles and sound symbols and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
recently got a book on it. I haven't read it all yet, but I'm very interested in learning more about it because I like I've always known like the English witch stuff, but not the more Slavic side of things, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah. There must be some significant differences.
Yeah, very much.
it would be fascinating to dive into it for sure.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's such a massive field of research.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone has their own thing. In general, it all does the same thing, but they're just doing different techniques. And I really like it. And some stuff will work for you and some stuff won't. So you have to
So
try it
there's always
all.
something you can try. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So for my story, because I don't know how much time we'll have at the end, I'm just going to tell my most recent one.
Mhm.
I have one other one before that it's just more little and it's not a sort of solid thing that I felt, and it was on one of those those ghost hunting events that I was talking about, the Dom runs. And I had a little girl sort of responding with my meter, my EMF. Why am I forgetting it right now?
The
The
EMF meter is just like a
the
little stick that goes around. Like
the
a recorder.
that
Like you
one.
heard. Oh yeah, that is an EMF
Yeah,
reader.
my
Okay, so
EMF.
you're
Yeah,
asking
yeah.
questions and it was going
Yeah,
red.
so
Okay.
I was just getting a lot of very interesting responses asking if it was a little girl because it was in the children's part of the cemetery, and that was just one of my sort of lighter ones, but it was interesting getting like perfect responses. But
Mhm.
the most recent one that I had that was kind of disturbing, because I think people like to hear those a bit more. I was spending a lot of time in the Mont Royal Cemetery because I live right near it, and I love it. And generally, like, so this is to sort of set the scene. In this cemetery, it's a place where I feel really safe and really comfortable. Like I've been drawn to it ever since I got to Montreal. Every time I'm there, I don't want to leave. There's no weird feelings. I never feel threatened. I never feel like there's any darkness in there. There's something about that cemetery that's just like I feel so at home. So it's like it's one of my comfort spaces. I can relax there. I can read. I can spend hours there. So one day I was looking for some particular graves because I was doing photo and video stuff for the Haunted Montreal videos. And I thought, oh, it would be good to find the graves of some of the people who we're talking about. And so I had two things happen on this day. One, I was walking and walking, and I was like, there's no way I'm going to find these particular graves. I have no idea how I'm going to do this. And I had a list of like 5 different ones. And then suddenly I just got this feeling that I should turn down this path because I wasn't really paying attention to where I was walking. And I turned down it and I looked at my notes again, and it was just when I was going to give up and just keep walking. And as I'm looking, I look up like that, and one of them was right in front of me.
Oh,
Wow.
that's so lucky. That's like needle in a haystack.
Yeah,
That's
because it's like
crazy.
for anyone who's not in Montreal, there's a mountain in the middle of Montreal, Mont Royal, and and most of the mountain, like 60% of it or something, or more like 80% is a graveyard. It's massive. Like I think it's the biggest graveyard I know it's like the biggest one in Canada, but one of the biggest ones in North America. So finding 5 graves in there is not going to be easy.
Yeah,
So
that's insane.
yeah. And I was standing there like, what just happened? How did that
Someone
happen?
led you to it, or something led you to it.
Yeah, I think like that person, and it's funny because it was a prominent politician. I can't remember whose name it was now, but it made me think, okay, prominent politician in life probably wants to be found. Like, you can't find my grave. I'm here. Come on.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah. So on that same day, when you talk about, the openness fluctuating, I must have been more open that day, because as I was walking around, I was really wanting to explore. Like, I'm going into these areas, and I was trying to find the Molson crypt, which I generally know where it is. So I was just sort of going around looking for it. It's one of the massive ones there, and I like it because it's kind of up on a hill. And if you want to read and be left alone, you can sit like behind one of the big pillars of it. And it's kind of a landmark. So I saw it and I was heading towards it. And there are these like rows of bushes and stuff and other like older crypts. And I looked down this one path, and I'm trying to sort of describing where it was. It's this hill with the Molson crypt on top. And there's some like graves here and a little path. And then there's some bushes. And I look off into these bushes and I realized there was a crypt like hidden in all these bushes. And I could just see the edge of it. So I started walking, and it's this path that, I don't know, it was maybe like 10 feet or something. It wasn't that far to get to it. I took 2 steps in and I got the strongest feeling pushing me back that I've ever felt in my life. And I just I just felt it in the pit of my stomach. I could not walk further. And I stood there for a second, like, but I want to go see it. Like, I want to see this crypt. And it was so weird. I couldn't, it just wouldn't let me. I mentally could not go any further. And the longer I stood there, the more this sort of panic started to grow. And I looked around, I'm like, there's no one around here. There's no one here. And then I started feeling weird that there was no one there. And then I just turned and walked like super fast away from it until I found some people just walking through the graveyard. And it was the weirdest thing.
Wow.
Yeah. And I told someone later who had a lot of, she's a medium, and I was saying, I want to go back there. Like, I want to maybe get a friend or two and go back and, have someone else there, see if they experience it. And she's like, don't go back. It was
why would you do that?
Not to. Don't go back. I'm like, I know, but
maybe at that moment though, there was something that was not okay. Like, maybe there was like some creepy individual there, kind of like looking at you or something. Your gut, like something was communicating with you through your gut, saying like, don't go there. But now you can, because they're gone. So, I think that's it could have been multiple things. That's the thing, because I've never had a bad feeling in there. And my brain did definitely go to like a human, like a live human, not something deceased. And it's like, I don't know, it's hard to describe, but that is what I was more afraid of than something that was dead. So yeah, maybe someone was hiding out in the bushes. Yeah,
it could have been. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so that's my creepiest interesting one.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Kind of recent too.
Maybe because also you are in the cemetery, your senses are heightened, so you can actually perceive more things, not just whatever it is there, non-living.
True.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the comments here because I missed some. Demons freak me out. Golness says, I don't mess with that stuff. If I have experienced these things, I don't acknowledge it. Yeah, well, demons are different.
Yeah, I've never experienced a demon, not that I know of.
Yeah, I've heard some pretty disturbing stories about that.
Definitely.
Well, actually, when I was in Vegas, I went to Zach Bagans' museum, and there is like a well-renowned rocking chair there that I think floated into the air, was there like during the first possession or something. I don't know. There's a movie about it. And I was super cocky when I was there. Like, I had like the VIP or RIP access, so I could do anything I wanted. And I was always like the first one to put and I was alone too. And I was like, yeah, I'll go in that hole. I'll go in that murder van, or I'll go do this. I'll go, like, I don't care.
Yeah.
But the second I got to this this demonic rocking chair, I was like, nah, I'm just going to stay like in the room. And everyone was like, oh, Sarah, well, you wanted to be you wanted to be first to do everything. You don't want to go see the rocking chair. Nah, I'm good. So something was telling me not to go near that rocking chair. And I'm like, now I'm just kind of like, damn. And then actually a couple of days after I fell unconscious for the first time in my life. So I was like, is it related to that stupid chair? Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't think it was though.
Maybe it was related to the murder van that you were going in.
Yeah, the murder van was heavy energy. It was ridiculous. Like I had to like hold the walls. I'm like, oh my goodness, I feel so sick. The murder van was ridiculous. Yeah, it's really cool though. If you're ever in Vegas, you have to do it.
Yeah, I might go for the first time in the fall with my friends, so I'll have to tell her that we're doing that.
Yeah. It's nice in fall too, so it's not too hot, but it's still very sunny. As a Canadian, you'll appreciate it.
Yeah, I can't do heat, so it would have to be in that time.
Yeah,
that time
October's perfect, and some of the pools are still open in October, so you'll get like those pretty pools. Yeah,
that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Robert the Doll. Golna says that they live 30 minutes away from the Alton Bridge in Denton, Texas. Goatman's Bridge. I feel like I know
Goatman's Bridge. Yeah, Goatman's Bridge is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Why so?
It's pretty old. It's been a really long time, but almost every like paranormal enthusiast or like YouTube people, I keep losing my headphones, go to this bridge, and just like ridiculous things happen. I think even the Ghost Adventure guys have done it, or the Ghost Hunter guys. I'm not sure which ones, but someone has went there. Yeah, it's just like this bridge, and they're just like, I don't really remember. I don't think like significant things happen, but they're terrified. Like there's no explanation for the Goatman's Bridge.
Yeah, it's true. I remember now. Like there was.
I'm gonna go watch it like right after this. Now I'm like Goatman's Bridge.
So I remember the name. Oh yeah, Sam and Colby. I think I saw the Sam and Colby one at one point.
Yeah. No, I remember seeing a video about Goatman's Bridge, and they constantly, there's people challenging the demons in the Goatman's Bridge. So at this point, I'm not sure, because nothing seems to keep happening there. But a lot of people keep getting very freaked out, and there's a lot of sightings. But it is interesting because a lot of people have a lot of stories to say about the bridge. However, there's very little documentation, like actual like recorded paranormal things.
That's why that's why I was saying like nothing like crazy happened, but they were just terrified. I think it was the physical feeling that you would get when you were there was so scary that it like, I remember this episode by how scared they were, but I don't remember that much actually happening. So it's just like, it's just like a weird place.
Golna says, when you leave the bridge, don't ever look back, like ever.
Like ever.
Is that a test?
Apparently Alex has a story that she wants to share. I mean, if you have something to share, definitely type it up. We'll take a look.
Yeah, we love these stories.
So since it's 3:44, I want to get in one more sprint.
Yes.
And then we'll stick around for like 5 or 10 minutes just to look at chat. So if anyone has a story, we'll address it and wind things up. But like, this has been so much fun. I could do this for so many more hours.
Oh my goodness. This is, I was like 2 hours, really? You mean 4 hours?
Yeah. Well, the three of us should get together. We're all in the same city, so we should
for sure
have a gathering.
I'm down to take both of you out to L'Orignal and do like the prison, the jail ghost hunt. It's so cool.
I love that. Yeah.
It's great.
Awesome. I'm in.
Yeah. I'll figure out the info. I've like lost contact with them since I got rid of Facebook. So I'm I know they're on Twitch, and I'll try and get a hold of them somehow.
Great.
Wonderful.
Excited. Yeah, I know Mark Andrea and I wanted to start doing some more actual like, ghost hunting on on our channel, because we've just been telling stories so far. But every place we reached out to, like you were saying, it's very hard to break into that, and most people don't want to respond to us at all. So
exactly,
any way that we can Yeah. And there's so many buildings here that like I think it's so funny. Montreal has such a rich history, and I think the ghosts are a great part of that and a great draw, but there are so many buildings here that are just like, don't talk about our ghost stories. Don't tell the tourists that. I'm like, if I were a tourist, I would go there because of that. And I think
Yeah, people travel
most
the world to
people-
find haunted places. Like there's
Yeah,
people
it's
like
so
us
funny.
everywhere.
Yeah, and more all the time. We're
Yeah,
all over
yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so we'll have to set something up.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so I'm gonna start our last timer, 15 minutes for anyone who's still writing. And you can count some of your writing as typing up your ghost story in the chat if you would like. And I'm gonna get back to editing. So we will see you to wrap things up in 15 minutes. That went by so fast again. I'm so
Find the
close to
whole 2
finishing
hours
it.
did.
Yeah, I know.
Like, what?
I know, it's crazy. It's after 4 too.
Wow.
Well, I
Time,
almost finished this chapter though, so that's good.
that's great. Time flies when you're having fun. Huh?
Yes,
Mhm.
definitely. I think I have a lot to catch up on with the comments here. Alex's story. I'm excited for this.
Yay.
So Alex said, I remember a night when I was at my dad's house. I woke up but could not move at all. The hallway was lit up. My phone was next to me and it said it was 5 to 6 in the morning. I was in a bunk bed on the top bunk. I saw a little shadow figure in the hallway. I was trying to call out to someone but could not. When I saw the small shadow figure in the hallway, I was very confused, scared, of course. I tried to tell them to go away, and when I blinked, another figure appeared right behind the smaller one, just staring at me. I could not see any details on them, but I felt their stares. Oh. I told them to go away again. I tried to, and they only seemed to move closer, especially the little one. The small figure suddenly appeared by the ladder of the bunk bed arms and head on my bed right next to my head. I panicked, of course, telling them to go away over and over again in my mind, and suddenly they did. One by one, they disappeared, but only one was left, and it was another shadow figure, a little taller and skinnier, of course, as the last figure was bigger, but just a bit shorter. This figure was a little different. The first time I asked for it to leave, it did. Then not long after I woke up, then passed out because I was tired. Do know I think of lost souls and ghosts as shadows. I don't believe in them since these figures I see usually represent someone I know. These 3 figures reminded me of my siblings, my younger, smaller sister, and my 2 brothers. It's funny because I asked if the boys' dad had the hallway lights on, but they said no, and that never happened again. I never found, oh, and Hannah says it's funny because the house she was describing, I believe it was haunted, continuous ominous things happened to it physically, and people saw and heard things. It never got brought up again. Due to that family not believing in superstitions, they just had logic for anything they heard or saw, but constantly there were noises of knocking or someone's name being called. Sometimes they'd hear a knock, everyone would turn each their own time, and they never said anything. Oh, this sounds like an interesting house.
Mhm.
Lots going on. I always think that's fascinating when you hear those house stories with like an entire family and they all just ignore it for so long. Like,
Yeah, they
it's
just
not
pretend it
happening. It's
doesn't
not
exist.
happening.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah,
Yeah, they
and
just
exactly.
don't
then
want to believe it. They don't want to believe it, is what it
and
is.
then
They're just
like
no.
something really big happens that you can't ignore and everyone sees it and then it's like, okay, what now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's usually what happens every time. Oh man. I think we need to do more. This should become a trend. The spooky storytelling sprint sessions. I think this is a
Oh
good
yeah,
idea.
it's like every Friday night or something. Kind of like YTV, every Friday
Yeah.
night they throw kids into a haunted house. You could just talk ghosts every Friday night.
Yes,
That would be cool.
definitely. Yeah. Okay. Well, we are so we're past 4 now, so I should give everyone back their Saturday.
Yay.
It's fine. This is all I had planned. I loved it.
Yeah,
I had a lot of
absolutely.
fun. I enjoyed this a lot. And I hope that everyone watching enjoyed as well and that you got some writing in, even though we did a little less writing than usual.
Yeah.
I think it was with good reason. And hopefully this was inspiring too. I mean, talking about this stuff always inspires me for my own writing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, actually, like one of the things that I have been doing in the last months has been writing exactly this type of experiences, and
mhm,
many of them happen at night. So eventually, like, uh, I will be releasing my channel regarding stories that have to do with the paranormal. And once it happens, like, I'll let you guys know, of course.
For sure. I would love to
mhm.
hear it or help you in any way.
Yeah.
It would be awesome. Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, and like I said, when you know the day you're gonna put video out, let me know and I'll help you promote it and tell people to go subscribe.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So yeah, I guess the final thing to do, I will just add my little shill at the end here that if you haven't checked out the Kickstarter for the Stygian collection yet, please do. We have just over 2 weeks left and we still need backers. So go donate there. Anything helps. We have a Dollar Darlings tier where actually you can get entered, if you donate on that tier, that sort of lower tier, you can get entered to win one of the prizes of the top tier. So you could win an invite to our launch party and we'll send you a pizza. So even if you just have $1, you can potentially win one of the bigger prizes along with it. And there's other stuff like, books, pins, art, etc. The link is pinned, so go check it out, please. Every little bit helps. And even if you just want to share it, that helps too. I will get back to everyone about my stream schedule for the next month soon on social media. Like I said last week, Saturdays are going to be pretty much taken up. So it's going to be a bit different. I haven't decided what yet, but I will very soon. I know I need to, so keep an eye out for that. So last but not least, I want to hand it off to my guests to each say one final thing if they would like, one final plug or anything. Sarah first.
I don't really have anything. I mean, apparently as of 2:40, whenever I got that phone call, I'm gonna start being a bit more creative because my phone, I pretty much got the phone call telling me to be a bit more creative. So I don't know. I don't have much social media. I have Instagram, sarah.beaupré, or my Twitch as well, which is also Sarah Beaupré, but that link is in my Instagram. So if you wanna follow me, I'm just like I don't do that much. I love photo shoots and playing video games, and I'm just sassy online. So if you just want to like joke around or send me your ghost stuff or just talk about whatever you want, I'm kind of friendly, so you could just come and talk to me. It's really cool. But yeah, I don't really have much to promote right now.
Well, and if you want to do more creative things, Sheratan and I are always here, and we're always
yes, please.
fostering creativity. So
absolutely.
reach out.
Yes, please.
And Sheratan, I know you mentioned a bit about your channel. Anything else you want to add?
Yeah, well, you can follow me at Sheratan.mortis in Instagram. I am like a little bit like Sarah, trying to find my creativity and like being with the sprints and in the staging community has actually absolutely helped me so much. As I mentioned, we have the staging anthology coming out, so I highly encourage you guys to check the Kickstarter. There's a lot of amazing things going on when it comes to the stories and the art. It is like really, really, really an amazing creative community project that we all came up together. So please support it as much as possible. It is highly encouraged to do that because it's amazing. And yeah, like in the future, not a long future from now, like I will be releasing the stories that I mentioned to you for the channel that I'm doing for the paranormal, and trying to promote a little bit of awareness of different sleep disorders. So check on that on my socials. I would appreciate it a lot. And Sarah, also, if ever you would like to game with someone, I would absolutely love it. I love video games, and
Me too.
yeah, and
I have ghost hunting games. There's ghost hunting games.
Yeah.
It's ghost hunts. Oh my god.
it's ghost hunts. Yeah.
Mortuary assistant is disgusting. It's so fun.
It would be
Spooky. It's
really,
very
really,
spooky.
really cool to do something together for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll definitely keep in touch, and we'll find some things to do on the internet and off into the outside, where the sun is,
Yes,
the moon is.
absolutely.
All right. Well, this has been so much fun, and I can see a lot of great things coming from it moving forward. So thank you again to my guests, and thank you to the viewers. And I hope that all of you have a day